Ubisoft?
I think Ubisoft out of...
Okay. Do you speak French?
Pardon?
Do you speak French? That might help.
Sorry, can I go back to what he's just said? Sorry, what's your name? Doesn't matter. For all of you who are here who are game designers, as teachers, we're all asked by parents every year, how can we get our kids learning on the computer at home? And we say, well, you can kind of go to Rainbow Maths, but it's shut down. And then they say, but there, if you can make, say, Year 4 specific maths games or, Year 5 specific maths games, there's a huge market there. And teachers will really recommend the product because we are searching for ways that we can get our kids online. Our kids are playing online. They're spending, I think, 11 hours a week playing online. But what they're getting out of that is really, really poor. They're not making themselves smarter.
Lots of anatomical research.
Yeah,
it took you a second, didn't it?
Yeah, but we would really love some great products that could help our kids.
This isn't my field. This is like edutainment. It's its own thing.
I think from a game developer's perspective, it's probably coming, but it's definitely not yet there yet. I mean, you say there's a big market for this. There's actually a tiny market for it, but it's growing and evolving in comparison to the mainstream market for video games. It's very small, but I think it will happen in the same way that if you look at what Nintendo has done with DS and the Wii, so say with brain training, even 5 or 6 years ago, nobody would have thought that was possible. It's come along and it's now a phenomenon. I think in time we'll start to see the edutainment games come more to the fore, and it'll be at a point where they're cost effective and able to leverage existing game engines and tech that we're developing at present. Another question down here.
Very eager.
So, I'm sorry, keep on theme, but would you give a comment generally on, this came up the other day for the theory of everything, games as learning vehicles, not necessarily education, but anything. Could you give sort of comment a little bit on that, and maybe while you're at it, a little bit of a comment on what your opinion is of serious games?
Serious games. Meaning?
The games, so-called games, which are used for specific sort of training purposes, like, what's its name?
America's Army, that sort of thing.
America's Army.
Yeah. Yeah, I think games is a good environment to develop certain skills. I mean, as I said in the big speech, they do develop your reflexes, they do develop map reading skills, problem-solving abilities. I mean, I grew up on games, like adventure games, and I like to think it's... observe my magnificence, Yes, I think it's stimulation. I mean, you could argue that playing a game does more with your brain than reading a good book or watching a televised quiz, because it's entirely responding to you. It's entirely about the player. It's a good influence on someone growing up, I think.
Yahtzee, you talk about, sorry,
Hello again.
Hey. You talk about soul in a game, and
Yeah.
there's this teary moment you had with Wing Commander, and I had a similar one with Zelda Ocarina of Time, when I was younger. Don't hold that against me. But look, the thing is that I was just pondering on it recently. Do you think it's because we are becoming more attached to the amazingly imaginative environments that we create as children in our head? And now that, as you were saying, we look at idle animation, get hit animation, and you pull it apart and you bug there, and especially because we're in the industry. Do you think that part of the soul is being lost because we can see the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, and we're not creating that beautiful image that we were when we were children?
We certainly do get more cynical as we grow older. I mean, everyone has fond memories of whatever they were playing as a child, no matter how poorly it was received at the time. But I think there are still games that can create the magic feel. I think Assassin's Creed, for me, wasn't as tightly designed as it would, but it presented itself really well. It really took me in, I guess. You were never just a thing in a world. It was the way that game's presented. You're like, viewing the memories of a 12th century ancestor, and it was just really well done. I felt it, because the thing like the Age of Conan thing I was mentioning is when I try till I get the same sort of connection going on with the game, going into the sort of trance. But when you see something like the interpretive dance, that doesn't seem to have anything to do with what she's saying. That's what kicks you out of the immersion. So I guess it's just more about smoothing out the edges, seeing like a smooth experience into it.
Next question.
Are we done? I'm gonna go now.
I'll project, it's okay. Using Assassin's Creed and avoiding Call of Duty 4, have there been any moments in recent games that have made you stop and go, this is progression, this is the future?
The future. I think the last game that really touched a nerve for me was Braid on the Xbox Live Arcade. Another one, a simple indie sort of thing. The gameplay's been hit and miss, story has been hit and miss, but there was this amazing sequence at the end that was amazingly well thought out, and it actually used interactivity in its telling of a story. And I think that needs to be the way forward. We've got stories, we've got games with good stories, we've got games with good gameplay, but I don't see enough that bring them together in a seamless way.
I'll project as well. I'm just, a lot of games I think probably worse for like haiku of gaming, and then all the good things, all game mechanic, really well executed with a good narrative behind it, but really like a college team starting that thing. Same with Braid, really tight, very small, but as soon as you go to play or something like that where someone has, a vision of creating a world, you're going to have a separate dance. I mean, that's the nature of it. You've got that much gameplay. There's going to be there's not enough people in the world to make sure that they're all going to be doing it. So I'm just wondering if someone says, I really want to create a Fable 2 world, how are you going to avoid that thing where you will push out the experience because they move into interpretive dance or things like that?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Things like the interpretive dance comes out of trying to do everything and spreading things out over too many people, which of course you have to do when you're making top-tier sort of games. I think it all comes down to strong leadership on the part of the developer. You need to be able to not let ideas come from all sides and say, yeah, that sounds good, let's do that. Not saying yes to the last thing you heard. Keeping a clear vision in your own head. Seeing in your mind's eye exactly how it should be, and then trying to create that image with the contributions of others. The more you let people say, oh, can we not do this, can we not do that, the more that gets watered, and the more the intention is lost. That's what I meant by games with souls, I guess.
One last question down here.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about a single vision behind a game, because you're a very big fan of Valve's games, and they're noted for not having...
It's a weird anomaly, yes. Valve's method of making games is very much team-based, but I think they have a very unique style of design and very unique hiring practices, because I think it's something like they only hire 1 out of 400 people, and they grill you mercilessly in the interview process. Like, the interview can take a week. You'll have to sit down with several different people. I've actually gone through it myself. It's really stressful. They try to assess every part of you with a microscope and rubber gloves. It's just because everyone in Valve is as dedicated to the project as the lead, I guess. And it's worked out for them so far. Well done them. But they have the luxury of that sort of thing because they've got so much money. They make something like 99% profit from the games they make themselves on Steam, so they can do what they like. They can delay a game 5 months. They don't count out from investors to make sure it keeps with everyone's vision. It's a fairly unique situation they're in, and it makes some excellent games, but it's really a hard thing to create for yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you join me in thanking Yahtzee?